Schneider Electric is proud to sponsor this podcast series. With a purpose to empower all to make the most of our energy and resources, our mission is to be your digital partner for sustainability and efficiency. At Schneider, we call this Life is On. Know more at se.com/au. My name is Jo Taranto and I'm joined today by Emeritus Professor Viji from the University of Technology, Sydney. And today we're talking about household water filters for removing arsenic and other pollutants in Vietnam. Professor, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
It's safe to say that you've got a pretty prestigious career, Viji. You've been acknowledged and recognised by the International Water Association. You're a distinguished fellow. You've had a really long-term and quite well-known, as we talked about, contribution. Did you always know that this was the sort of work that you wanted to do?
Yeah, my work has been, both academic and applied, and some work which has the impact to the society. That is what always after my studies, I worked in an institution in Thailand where I have been working with the developing countries' issues. Since 1991, when I joined UTS, I have been working both academic and industry related projects. That is to solve the problems within Australia. Having said that, I had the opportunity also to work in the rural communities or very isolated communities in Australia to provide water, especially in Western Australia. And the arsenic is a major issue not only in Vietnam, Bangladesh, Cambodia, and many other countries. So it attracted me, and I have had a number of students from Vietnam who have been always addressing these issues. So I thought this is the time I should devote in this one, and luckily I fell into a student who had a similar student who is now my colleague. So initially my work in arsenic was funded by the Australian Research Council, which expects more of the academic output. But this particular project was initially funded by the Google Challenge Grant, which is also liaised with the DFAT Poverty Prize. So that is how this project started in 2017. So we were asked to build the arsenic filters, to remove arsenic filters both mainly in Red River Delta.
So what's the importance of arsenic in water and why is it so serious in countries like Vietnam?
Yes. Globally, about 230 million people are affected by arsenic pollution in groundwater. And in Vietnam alone, about 10 million people along the Red River Delta and about 1 million in Mekong River Delta are affected seriously by arsenic. Arsenic is a slow killer. That's the reason people do not take that much into account that problem. But this slowly get into your body and affect you permanently. So that is the reason why arsenic is a huge issue. And as you all know, arsenic is a poisonous material. And in Vietnam, in Hanoi and Hanam provinces, which are along the Red River Delta, they have a arsenic level about 80 to 300 times more than the permissible standard of the Vietnam standard.
Why do individual households need filters, Viji?
Yes. When it comes to in Vietnam, like in many developing countries, there are centralized systems, but not all the people have the access to the centralized systems. Then another one is majority of the centralized systems, they do not, the water quality doesn't conform to the water quality standards.
So, why is there arsenic in groundwater in so many countries?
Yeah, there are some countries where the groundwater rocks, the formation is a geological formation which contains arsenic. So it's a natural thing. The arsenic mainly comes from the natural formation. There could be also some the industrial activities, but industrial activities are minimum.
And so, what currently do they do to treat arsenic in groundwater?
Practically all the houses in Vietnam, they have the sand filter built along the near to their house. So the groundwater, when they pump, it goes through the sand filter. They assume that the arsenic is removed by it. Yes, because it's removed partially, because the water in the groundwater in Hanoi and Hanam provinces, they have also the iron. The iron, when it's present together with arsenic, they co-precipitate and removed, but that is not sufficient.
You're listening to the Australian Water Association podcast series, and I'm speaking with Emeritus Professor Vijay from the University of Technology, Sydney. And so you undertook a 3-year study. Can you tell us a bit about the research and the approach that you took?
Right. So when we were given this prize, we used that money for this to provide the filters to the selected communes. And the communes, what we first did was we identified local universities who could help. For example, Vietnam National University, Vietnam Hanoi University of Science and Technology, and the Vietnam Academy of Science and Technology, which is equivalent to CSIRO here. And with them, the reason is when we operate from Australia, it is not easy. So we have to have the local partners, and we have to have the local laboratories to run the experiments and also to analyze. And we also liaise with the health organization. In Vietnam, even the villagers, when they have a stamp put by the health authority, then they assume that one as a golden thing. So it has to be approved by the health authority. So that's the reason we also included them. So we selected about 12 different communes, and we first analyzed the water quality. There are reports water quality, but we wanted to make sure they are appropriate and representative. And we have had a local consultant who could liaise directly with the community and get the data. And this person, actually, when we were working with the DFAT, they appointed AECOM as the people who to sort of audit our work. Audit in the sense is not in a bad sense, it is to facilitate our work. They have been extremely helpful to us. So they have had several video meetings with us and advised well, the way we are going is correct or what modification to be done. So after doing that, we did a small, then we have to find media. There are many adsorption media which could scavenge arsenic. But we have to find a media which is locally available easily, and available all the time. That is the reason we chose the media called laterite. This comes from the rock material in the subsoil in a particular district, and it is there all the time. Yeah.
You also talk about how important it is to have inexpensive technology to address the problem. How critical was this for your research?
Yes, there have been lots of NGOs, international organization. They have done the work, but once they completed that work, that was the end of it. We wanted to make sure that the technology we develop is sustainable and acceptable by people, and also it run long time. So not only we plan to sort of measure the quality only for 6 months or 1 year, but we have a contingency plan to measure over 3-4 years, and also we involved the local artisans or the technicians who could then take that work, and the industries who could make the filter and sell to the people at a reasonable price.
You're listening to the Australian Water Association podcast series, and I'm speaking with Emeritus Professor Vijay from the University of Technology, Sydney. Tell us about some of the outcomes of the project so far.
Yes, so these filters are the household filters. They cost as low as $30, and we had 4 or 5 different configurations. For the very poor people, we have had only outside the water, and which costed only about $30-40. Then we had middle income owners about $100. Then for the high income earners about $200. So it is sustainable. And not only that, every year they have to replace the medium. So what we did was, instead of replacing the medium, we had a column or some sort of container. So every 6 months or 1 year, the local technicians or the local shop where they buy their amenities, they go and buy that one, or they come and fix that one. And then we also, in the process, we involve 2 industries, 1 NGO, 1 community person, community consultant, and we involved all the village heads. They are very, very important figureheads in those communities. So that's the reason we feel, so we had not done the work collaboratively with them. So also we should not claim we did the work. It is the industry who did the plan, and also this work was very widely advertised in their newspapers. And we always had at representative areas, they call it billboard. That's a very big notice board. It's the size of about 8 meters by 3 meters. And so all the motor bicycle people, when they go, they see. And we put the thing in the schools. So the schools, young kids, the child care centers, they can go and tell to their parents. So that is why we think it is successful, and we are very happy that it is running, and we could able to continue not only the Google project, but then also we were given another 3 years by DFAT to extend the work. And in the meantime, in central Vietnam, there was a flood, as you know that in October 2020. So Australian government was approached for some emergency the items, and one of the things is the water filters. So our ambassador who liaised with their vice minister, and we liaised with a NGO, and we provided within a week about 100 systems. So our work has been very successful in that way. And I should say that it is not me. We have my colleague who could not be here. He is from Vietnam, and he did most of the work for me. And also we have lot of Vietnamese students who were trained in Australia, who played a major part also.
It sounds like you've really been able to embed these filters into communities.
Yeah.
What would you like to see happen next, Vijay, to really improve things for these communities?
We want the companies whom we have worked, they produce the filter on a regular basis in a larger scale and sell them to the communities through the representative shops in that small communes. Because the communes in Vietnam, they rely on the representative shops around in that area. So what they will do is that they sell the filters, and the companies will train them so that the people will buy from them, and they also will be involved in the maintenance. And we want to see a progressive improvement. Now that the Vietnam universities, two main industries, and the health authority, village heads, they all were involved, so they could make this filter and the plan improved or refine that one and take it on a longer term. And it is very important that to win the hearts of the people, we have to monitor the system and see whether it is working all the time perfectly. And we want to also see that whenever there is a problem in Vietnam, as in all the developing countries, they all have the mobile phones. So we will set up an app. So whenever there's an issue, they will put the thing, and this will reach to the correct body, and they will do the remedy. And we want the DFAT and the Australian Embassy in Vietnam to keep helping them. We want also to extend this work to Bangladesh, which is not very easy. In Vietnam and Bangladesh, the way they work are completely different. We were approached by an organization in India. In West Bengal also, arsenic is a serious issue. So we want, it may be not us, but it is through our close contacts, we will make sure that they are also given the similar thing, but the design will be different to suit their regional needs.
I've been speaking with Emeritus Professor Vijay from University of Technology, Sydney. Thank you for your time, Professor.
Thank you.